Yo, 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 what's good? It's Chan Man, House of Barf. How's everyone feeling? Long time. Been busy. No excuses. We all busy. Late night, gotta get up. Still sell what we gotta sell. Do what we gotta do. Just been hanging in there. Not doing too much. Really don't even know what's going on in the stock market. Uh really hasn't, I still got my a couple of investments, but my portfolio's been getting liquidated like crazy. To maintain bills. Been going on job interviews. Haven't sealed anything yet. Still hanging in there. But there's still a lot of good news going on. Woke up this morning and I saw Chris Brown and Quavo are arguing. I'm like, damn, when did that happen? I tell you, I've been busy. I've been occupied, so I have no idea when all this stuff started happening. What's his name? It's just always funny to me that like people that look alike always seem to argue with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, like I don't know, like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. It's like, yo, y'all look like y'all could be sisters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Chris Brown and Quavo. I'm like, yo, y'all like brothers. Like, what the fuck y'all beefing for? What happened here? You know what I'm saying? Like Quavo, the pretty boy out in the Migos, Chris Brown, pretty boy. I'm like, yo, y'all need to. I know. Everybody like, no, they no Chris Brown. He blood. He a thug. Whatever. I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know. Um, I yeah, so that shit crazy. Then kept scrolling. I'm looking at this stuff by Jaguar Wright, some shit. She blowing everybody's shit up. I'm like, damn. I mean, in a good way though. It's not in a bad way. She blowing everybody's shit up in a positive way. Like she exposing uh the industry and what's going on with um I mean, you just gotta watch it yourself because there was a lot of talk about mouth and butt and juices, you know. Yeah. So she's just exposing it for these pedophile sex traffickers. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like it's getting to a point where there's so many pedophiles that I think in the future they may even they may consider it some type of like the Greek Roman days, some type of form of a norm or a mental disorder or something. You know what I'm saying, or something. It's like wow, man. Yeah, they talked about, or she talked about Orlando Brown. She talked about Justin, Bieber. I was like, damn. But yo, this is not my topics that I touch on. I touch on business, accounting, regulation, and finance. These are my topics. I just saw that this morning. Another thing I saw this morning. Woke up this morning, got a bill in the mail. You know what I'm saying? A ticket, and I looked at the ticket, and I was like, man, where I get this ticket at? And they were like, I was in Baltimore County on I-65, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. I said, damn, that shit hit hard. I was like, damn, yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy, you know. But yeah, everything else has been going really well. So in other news, other than what's going on with not being able to seal employment. So one thing I'm learning about not sealing the employment, besides I don't know if there's other stuff going on, whatever. But another thing going on in these interviews that I'm realizing is I have to learn how to speak to computers. It has to happen. So this past weekend, to be honest, I did spend some time with the family, but I didn't do anything but sit in my room and uh, I pulled up this website called Excel Practice. I literally started from the jump. I started from the very beginning, where the first function I believe is equals sum. You know what I'm saying? Then equal max, then equal min, then count. So, because the road I want to go down, and I know it's like, come on, are you serious, Chan? I want to go down. I want to work on becoming an analyst. I want to be a financial analyst. Another bill just came in. I'm just like, man, look, this is a hard time for me right now. Like, I'm trying to get it. So I want to work on working for a company, become a financial analyst. This is uh, something that I figured that I wanted to do a while ago while I worked in wealth management, and I saw how hard it was to get a client base. Not saying it's impossible, but to get a client base outside of like your nationality. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's impossible. Okay, not saying that at all. It's very possible. You know, I was like, I still want to be in the industry. I still want to protect investors. If you ever have an issue with like you feel like you need to talk to somebody about, something that may be going on at a broker dealer or anything that you're not feeling comfortable about, you got regulators like the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. You got companies like FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Um, FBI, the comptroller, the state. You can reach out to any of them, and if you have anything that's going on. But just making excuses, just I was like, you know what, I just want to be a wealth manager. I just want to be a financial advisor, and I noticed that typically. Caucasian males want to work with Caucasian males. Caucasian females want to work with Caucasian females. Asian want to work with Asian, Hispanic want to work with Hispanics. Now, being a man of color, in the industry, as an advisor, there's, I would say, let's just take. I'm just making up numbers. I'm just making up fake numbers. All right, let's say, um, out of we got approximately about 334 million people in the United States of America. Um, let's say out of that, let's say 60% of people are investing one way, shape, form, or another, either real estate, 401k, and a hobby. You know what I'm saying? You still joining the rec leagues. You know what I'm saying? And you paying thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and let's say 334 million, and I'm just going to times that by 60. So we have approximately sorry. What did I put? I put the wrong number. 334. I'm doing the calculations right now. 334 million times that by 60%. We have approximately about 200 million people who are investing one way, shape, form, or another. And these numbers are fake. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. I actually do got to get ready to go in about 30 minutes. I'll tell you about that in a second. So we got about 200 million investors, one way, shape, form, or another. Real estate, 401k, securities, a hobby, whatever it is. Out of those 200 million, I would probably say 70% of them are probably other nationalities other than black, you know? So this is one reason why I got into this industry, because I was like, man, I really got to get to the black and the brown people. You know what I'm saying? Getting them investing. Wrote a children's book, Langston Manxon's Cool and Made Adventure, and really wrote that, you know what I'm saying, for, children and parents that need to have that conversation, but also for up and coming children who may, be in an environment that may not be conducive, to, societal norms. You know what I'm saying? What's illegal yesterday may not be illegal today. You know what I'm saying? Weed was illegal a little while ago. Now, when I step outside, somebody smoking some pack. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, Um, so, um, but, somebody, that may not be in an environment that's conducive for their entrepreneur spirit. One thing people don't really understand, the entrepreneur spirit, it's a spirit, you know? Let me see. I'm going to try to start taking some notes, because sometimes I'll be losing my track of thinking, but, it's a spirit. If you don't know what it's like I don't know what it's like to be an artist. Some people be like, yo, the artist mind is different. Uh, you know what I'm saying? So as an entrepreneur, Like, for example, one way you could kind of think of an entrepreneur is a problem solver. Is we see some. I go outside and I see how um, there's a lot of people smoking pack, and a lot of people hate the smell of it. They say it smells like a skunk or sweaty armpits. Well, not that new pack. That new pack smell like a tree. It smell like some plants. But you see that problem. I'm just making this up off the top of my mind. And you say, I wonder what can I do to solve that issue. You know what I'm saying? And then you say, hey, how about we create, I don't know, like the vape. Let's create the vape. That way it just cooks it, boom, no smell, nothing. You can get high, and the people behind you don't even know it. You can be on a train, bloop, 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 and then done. Nobody even knows it doesn't smell or anything, and you still smoking that pure THC, whatever it is. I don't know. That's pretty much how the entrepreneur mind works. And in another sense, the way the entrepreneur mind works is, you put a, I was listening to DMX talk about how he put a butterfly in a jar, and he felt terrible about it. He was like, man, I felt awful. It was like that butterfly is supposed to be out enjoying its life, but I was being selfish and put that butterfly in a jar. And I kind of think about that as an entrepreneur in a cubicle. I'd be like, yo, it's like watching a butterfly in a jar. You know what I'm saying? Not saying okay. So real quick, not saying that entrepreneurs don't have 9 to 5s, but I'm talking about an entrepreneur like me, an entrepreneur that's never really entrepreneured. I've always tried to work the job. I entrepreneured as a kid. I was the kid with the lemonade stand. I was the kid with the candy. I was a kid trying to go around shoveling driveways in the winter, cutting grass in the summer. So I always had that entrepreneur spirit, but I was always trying to get a job because that's what you're always taught. Go to college, get a job, play that role, and that's our generation before us, because the generation before them probably didn't go to college. So they're like, hey, yeah, my mom, she went straight to the workforce. So I told myself that I was going to go to college and get myself a good job. And then they put that on us. And if you're a person like me, I listened. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in no beef with my parents. They've been taking care of me. Was it never bite the hand that feeds you? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go to college. Then you get out of college and, you pretty much are like, yeah, all right, cool. I went to college. I'm going to go ahead and start this small business. And, you get that job, then you get somebody pregnant. Then you just like, man, I got to get these bills paid. And then next thing you know, you fall into it. You're just working. So, but that urge, that thing in my gut has always been there, just like punching me in my face. Like, come on, Chan, you're not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? As much as I talk about being a financial analyst, like that's a job that I would be comfortable doing. You know what I'm saying? But also, like, I got all this shit, house, car, responsibilities that, it's like, man, I need to bring in some income, because the book sales aren't going that crazy. They're going pretty well, but not enough to, like, what I'm saying, sustain a life. And then, what I'm saying, the TikTok ain't doing shit. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, a couple people sent me some gifts. It was pretty awesome. But it was nothing that like was like, oh shit, life changing. But who knows? I could probably get more gifts. I have no idea. And I haven't got no sponsorship on House of Barf. And I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who decides to stop by and kick it with your mans. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So until then, sometimes, even as an entrepreneur, you got to chalk it up. You know what I'm saying? And apply for those government programs. You know what I'm saying? Say, all right, let me hop on these government programs real quick. And I don't even know how the government programs became political. It's like, yo, if you can't fucking eat, apply for that SNAP. You know what I'm saying? If you can't pay for your utilities, apply for that utilities. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? It's like, oh no, I don't want to get on those government assistance programs. Those are for people who stay on them for the rest of their lives. It's like, no, the fuck they don't. That's false. Some people are only on it for a couple days, and then next thing you know, they get a job and they hit up the state and be like, hey, now I'm good. So yeah, I don't even know. Like, even mask. I remember during COVID, mask became political. I'm like, what the hell? How did this happen? Like, no, put on a damn mask. There's a virus going around that none of us know shit about. As soon as COVID came out, then people started sending me messages of like, oh, Bill Gates was talking about this 5, 8 years ago. I was like, well, I didn't hear. I didn't know. And now people are like acting like they knew everything about COVID. I still hear people talking about COVID. Somebody gets shot, pow! They're like, oh, COVID. I'm like, what the fuck? No, it was drugs. It was a war. What are you talking about, COVID? Well, he got shot and then he died, but supposedly he had COVID. I'm like, dude, stop, please, stop with the damn COVID. And then I don't know. There's other respiratory system viruses coming out, but who knows? But yes, so there are entrepreneurs. Like I've talked to a few buddies that got cleaning services. Like they clean commercial buildings at like 3 o'clock in the morning, um, and still get a 9 to 5 because they're like, you know what? I just, they enjoy the work they do. The work's not too hard that they're doing or whatever it is. They enjoy it and they have a good time. And they're trying to build up, maybe that 401k, max out the 401k, get that employer match, and then they do their businesses as well. So I'm not trying to say it like that, but like for that entrepreneur that's like, yo, I've been sitting here working this. So what happens is, so you work, a whole year or whatever it is. You make, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000. So you take that $50,000, $60,000, divide it by 2080. That's how many working hours are in 1 year. So you take that $60,000. Let's just say 60. I don't know what the average. Here, let me look it up. What's the average salary in the United States of America? Let me look it up. Average salary in the U.S. The average salary is approximately about $60,000. Okay, cool. Here, I'll read this from the USA Today. This came out. When did this article come out? April 3rd, 2024. Oh shit! This came out 20 days ago. Oh, cool. All right. So, how much does the average American make in a year? According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the average U.S. annual salary in Q4 of 2023 was $59,384, which is up 5.4% from the same time period in 2022, when the average American was making approximately $56,316. Oh, 316. I got that shit tatted on my arm. Yeah. So what's crazy is everybody talking about how bad the economy is, but employee wages, according to this article, went up. So more people are making money. On the other note, the consumer pricing went up as well. So it was kind of like, ooh, my wages went up. And then the prices was like 6 months later, about, it's like, oh, for sure. So with that. But so you make $60,000 in 1 year, and I'm not knocking it. Shit. I just applied for a job that was about to give me like 55,000. You know what I'm saying? They like, yo, Chan, we could use your assistance, but do you know shit about macros and VBA on Excel? And I'm kind of like, no. I got an MBA, and they're like, nobody cares. All right. And then took that 60 grand. I'm gonna divide it by 2080. So 2080 is the amount of working hours that you have in 1 year. So this is what I'm talking about, the entrepreneur mind. So you take the 2080 and you sit there and you say, okay, I made 60 grand. How much was I making an hour? I was making $28 an hour. Now everybody doesn't do this. If you're not, I'm not trying to say anything. You'll sit there and say $28 an hour. Okay, how can I make $56 an hour? That's what some people will do. An entrepreneur mind will say, fuck, what was I doing the last year? I was sitting there working $28 an hour. If I would have just sold 2 glasses of lemonade at $10, I could have done 3 glasses. 3 glasses of lemonade. I would have made that. Sitting at home, playing on FanDuel or DraftKings, whatever people like to do, or trade in the stock market, fucking my wife, chilling, picking up my children from school, taking them to their extracurriculars. I could have made $28 an hour. That's where the entrepreneur brain goes. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody does it. Some people will say, okay, I made $28 an hour this year. I don't even know how, like for me, I don't even know how kind of when the other kind of side of the brain works. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm kind of like, I see that $28 an hour and I just go, oh my gosh. So I spent this whole last year of my life and I sold my time for $30 an hour. That's kind of how I think as an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I could have done anything. You know what I'm saying? I could have did that. So that's where more so where you feel this thing in your gut that's just punching you in the face. Come on, man. And not even to mention, the mid-year reviews. There's probably was it April's probably mid-year reviews starting up. Those trainings you got to take every year, every 6 months, whatever. You go to your mid-year review. You're in the office with this person who's on the other side of the desk, who needs to, not even the desk anymore, on the other side of the Zoom meeting, and they're just sitting there like, "Hey, we want to tell you about some things you did positive, and we want to tell you about some things you did negative." And the reason why they do this shit, I don't know. I've talked to some managers. I've never been a manager, not since I was like 16, working at Six Flags or some shit. But they'll be like, "Yeah, we know we really don't give out 5 stars. I mean, you have to be like, crazy." So it's like, so you're even starting me off at 4 stars. So why don't you just get rid of that 5th star? Just well, then they'll probably say, well, then we could just start you off at 3 stars. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you're already working uphill. You know what I'm saying? And you already know. I mean, if you ever see somebody, I could be wrong about this. You ever see somebody who does really successful in their career? Later on, you find out that they were roommates in college or something. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, I didn't join a frat. I'm not military. I'm not a police officer. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to fucking Wharton or I don't know, Cornell. You know what I'm saying? Like I went to University of Maryland up the street. You know what I'm saying? And you find out that they're roommates, and you're like, dog, I knew something was up, man. Or somebody will eventually tell you, like, yo, Chan, I didn't want to tell you. Me and them used to work together at a former company for like 10 years. Like, I was like, you know it. And it hurts because, you go into a company, they're like, hey, you know what? We think you're great. We would like to bring you in as a contractor. Contractor? Is that okay with you? Okay. We need to make sure that you're capable of getting our benefits of our 401k, of our employer match, tuition reimbursement. We need to make sure that you're good for that. And you're like, cool, I'll do everything I can. I call this, and this is probably wrong, I call this the black man fallacy. This is the black man fallacy. Sure, I'll come in and I'll bust my tail and work my ass off. I'll even change the pitch of my voice. Let me see. I got this pitch changer on my joint. I should do it real quick. You go in there, you know what I'm saying? You go in there, you think you pack your lunch, you iron your clothes. Oh, yeah, I'm going in there. You pick up a night class because you're like, I want to brush up on my skills. And you're doing all this shit. You're a contractor for a year. They say, you see these youngins come in. What do they say? Greenhorned, whatever. They coming in fresh, bow, wet behind the ears, and you're just sitting there like, oh, cool, fresh new faces. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? Great, fantastic. Then you get into the conversation. You're like, so, what's your role here? Whatever. I try not to get into these conversations because you know where it's going. Oh yeah, I'm the deputy for the executive director of operations. You're like, fuck, what the fuck? How did this happen? It's like, do you know such and such? No, such and such advocated for me. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to become deputy director or whatever. It's like, gosh darn. Somehow it comes up. How old are you, dog? It's like, oh yeah, I'm 22, whatever. It's like, dude, just curious. Do you even know what a stock is? It's like, stock. Listen, I went to school for English. It's like, oh my gosh. And I've been here doing a contractor for a year. Like it just gets crazy. It gets crazy. So, you even think about that stuff, but that's not my focus when I worry about investors. I really do worry about the integrity and I know this stuff sounds corny. Chandler, shut your bitch ass up. No, I really do care about the integrity and the ethics of the industry. I'm telling you, everybody laughs at that up until grandma got a new financial advisor, handsome guy, 25 years old, named Ben, who's coming to our house every day, chilling with her, eating breakfast and lunch and everything. And people be like, yo, Chan, something don't sit right with me, man. I don't even know this guy. Like, who is this guy? I say, look, man, hop on brokerchecker.org, check him out, see if you can get some information on him, see how you feel. Next thing you know, they call me back, yo, Chan, dude had big disclosures on his joint. I don't even know how he got hired again. It's like, dude, listen, when you make companies money, they'll work a way to get that shit expunged. They'll work out a way to, get you in there because, the person's bringing in dollars. They're bringing in $19 million a year, you know what I'm saying, for the company. There's even this thing called a promissory note. Promissory note basically says, look, you want to come work for us. We see that you make dividends. You know what I'm saying? We see that you be bringing companies money. You know what I'm saying? We saw last year you brought, this company such and such 20 million. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're going to do for you. All right? Don't worry about nothing. You don't got to, take no test. You don't got to nothing. Don't worry about it. And we're going to give you this thing called a promissory note. Essentially, we're going to go ahead and put 2, 3, 4, 5 million in your pocket off jumps. Work for us for 10 years, you only got to pay it back. If you leave before 10 years, then you got to pay back the principal with interest. And you now this is the crazy part. And you got to pay it back immediately. Like I'll say you probably got. I'll give you 3 months before they file an arbitration against you. What I'm saying. And the thing is, the companies they do this so often. I'm like, damn, are y'all losing money on these like notes? Because they file them so often. They got that whole cycle going. They bring in the representative. And this person says, "Oh yeah, I brought this much money. That's coming." Promissory note. Typically, this is what's going to happen. No, I don't want to say typically. From my experience, what I've noticed is the people don't last 10 years because what happens is companies, they put so much into you, right? So that, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to worry about coming to build your office up. Don't worry about any of that. We're going to go ahead and give you 2.5 million, 5 million off jumps. So when you go apply for a job and you have information like that in your head where they're just like, hey, can we give you like $59,000 a year? And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, damn, somebody right now, a representative here. Let me read it to you. What a promissory note is. I'll read it to you real quick. I'm gonna try to look it up. Promissory note, securities industry, and there's two type of promissory notes, but I'm talking about employment. There's another promissory note, especially like the same difference. I promise to pay this back, but I gotta look up. There's two different promissory notes. I'll explain them to you real quick. Promissory note broker dealer. I want to go from the broker dealer stance, not the investment, because there is a promissory note that you can invest in. It's like passive income or some shit. But real quick, let me see if I found it. This is GIAlawgroup.com. The promissory note is typically paid to a broker as a lump sum when the broker commences employment with a new firm and is subsequently forgiven over a period of years, with the exception that the broker will remain at the same broker-dealer for the term of the promissory note. That's what I'm saying right there. So I'm just going to ask a question, like, how much should I ask for? Like, if I was a person, how much should I ask for on my promissory note? Let me see. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think I asked that correctly, but some person. Oh, I just saw somebody said 700,000. 700,000. To be honest with you, I've never seen 700,000. I've never seen. I've always saw when somebody got a promissory note. So how did I see these? I worked in compliance. So whenever a representative didn't left the company prior to their term, let's say it was like 10 years, and the broker dealer wanted to file an arbitration against the representative for not paying them. That's when I got involved, and I didn't even like. Of course, I represented the broker dealer. I mean, I worked for regulatory. I worked in compliance. But the main thing was some representatives make a habit out of this. This is kind of their thing. They go to broker dealers. They, give the good pitch. Hey, yeah, I'll do this for your company. I'll bring in this much money. I blah, blah, blah. That's what I was investigating. I was investigating, okay, are they making a habit out of this? Maybe if they did maybe, it's just maybe once. Maybe this is their first time ever doing this. But if you find a representative that is going to broker dealer to broker dealer, throwing the pitch, getting the promissory notes, quitting, and then going to the next broker dealer, and that's when I'm going to go ahead and escalate this. And let's say we probably need to bar this representative from the industry because they're making a habit of getting promissory notes and not paying them back. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So when you got in the back of your head some information like this, where I clearly know that companies, broker dealers got bread. I know they got bread because they're using it on these representatives. Um, they're giving them $2 million. That's those are promissory notes I've seen, like 2 million, 3 million, maybe 4 million. And then they basically tell you to go fly away, bird, go do your thing. Well, eventually, this is what happens. This is what some representatives say. That promissory note is cool for 1 year. After that first year, the firm is on your ass. They're watching you. Like they're like, yo, you know what? You did great last year. Typically, your first year goes really great because you're bringing over all your book of business from the other broker dealer that you were just at, that you just left. So you're transferring all these people over to your broker dealer. You know what I'm saying? New broker. Hey, I'm not with ABC. Now I'm with XYZ. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, oh yeah, we ride with you wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? So you just had that huge transition, which could also turn into a regulatory issue called rating, and there's another word for it, rating and something else. But essentially, what rating is there's another word for it. I forget what it's called. Let me see. Rating. I'm gonna look it up to give you the actual rating. Uh, Securities industry. Rating, and there's another word for it, like poaching or something. But rating is essentially when you leave a broker dealer and you go to another broker dealer and you take all your clients with you. You know what I'm saying? Because typically, what broker dealers would try to do is make a deal when they bring you in on as employment to say, hey, if you leave, your clients stay with us, or they'll put it in the deal that, hey, if you leave, your book of business is your book of business, and feel free to take them with you. I'm going to say, even if the broker dealer says that, I would say, nah, broker dealers are in the business of making money, and ways that they can make money is by building their assets under management. You know what I'm saying? So to be having somebody come in with, let's just say, an asset under management book of business of like, I don't know, I'm just going to say like 25 million or something. And just to say to that person that, hey, yeah, sure, feel free to take that 25 million. If you leave, if you're not happy with us, you can just go ahead and go. Nah, that ain't going to happen. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to talk about how much we have to protect the integrity and ethics of the industry. Yes, it is true, but also it's a game. So rating. Let me go ahead and read this definition real quick if I can find it. I can't find it. My bad. But I forget what FINRA rule it is. Let me see. FINRA rule rating. Rating. Let me see if I can. There's another word for it. But essentially, this is like, you know what I'm saying? You roll out, you know what I'm saying? I think is it 5320? No, I don't know. You take your coworkers with you. You say, we're out of here. You take your book of business. Uh, there's another word for it. I can't believe it. I can't remember right now. It's been so long since I had to read these rules. It looks like there's another rule that recently came out by the SEC. Is it 5319 or something? I can't remember. We'll get into it. But yeah, especially as an entrepreneur and also working in an industry and knowing this information, that there's people out there who come into the industry and get promissory notes of like 2 million and whatnot, and um, don't even really meet their expectations. A lot of them will say, "Yo, I couldn't keep it up, man." They brought me into the office, basically told me that, like, look, if you don't bring in this much assets, you'll probably get terminated. If you get terminated by the broker dealer, you want to look at it. I think the promissory note is still required to be paid back in a lump sum with interest. There might be something in there that says if we terminate you, you're not required. But trust me, they're going to make it hard for you if you're sitting there and you promise to bring in 20 million and you're bringing in 2 million a year. Not trying to say anything, but a basic person like me could bring in probably 2 million a year. You know what I'm saying? What is 2 million divided by 12? Let me see. 2 million divided by 12. That's $166,000. $166,700 approximately. Somebody like me, basic person who would just go out and sit in front of a grocery store and cold call and everything, could probably bring in $166,000 a year. I mean, a month for a little while. I'm not saying I could sustain that forever. Look, again, I'm not no NBA, NFL basketball player. I don't roll with the military. I don't roll with the boys of blue or women of blue. I don't roll with the police officers. I'm not part of any fraternity. I went to college and I sat in class and did my work and graduated and rolled out. Um, So, those are the people that make great advisors. Great because they have that whole, I got the NBA network on lock. I used to play for the Washington Wizards for how long? Like 1 year. Oh, shit. Okay. But still, I got all those connections. And then they join, some broker dealer. And then, they bring over all their NBA buddies. Those are the ones that are bringing in consistently, 100,000 a month, you know what I'm saying, or 1 million a month, you know what I'm saying, pretty consistently, or, frat, I was part of the, this frat, this sorority, they got that on lock. I used to be an actor. I was a part of the, I don't know, SAG, or was it Screen Actors Guild or whatever it is. So I have that connection very well. I used to be in the military. I had that connection very well. So but somebody like me who's going to just go out in the streets, cold calling, hey, come on, I'm a financial advisor. You want a financial advisor by me? I could probably bring in $100,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Starting off with friends and family, and then just branching out from there. But if you're somebody who you came in promising that you're going to bring in, 30 million a year, you know what I'm saying, and then next thing you know, you're only bringing in between 2 to 5. Your broker dealer is going to chew you out and make it very hard, a very hostile environment for you. You know what I'm saying? And they're basically going to push you out. And then when you get pushed out, that promissory note is going to be required. But going into all of that, I went into the long way home. You know what I'm saying? When you see the group of people that are kind of sketchy hanging out on your normal way home, you take the long way. I took the long way home on that one. But basically, when I go to a job and it's very hard, and I know sometimes it's like some of the skill sets, you're like, hey, do you know everything about the banking system, operations, and regulations? It's like, oh, shit. Nah, dog, I don't. Of course, I don't say that in the interview, but it's what I'm thinking. But you know what I'm saying? So you make your $60,000 a year, divide that by 2,080. That's how many working hours are in a year. You're making approximately, let's just round it up to $29 an hour. As an entrepreneur, you see that shit and you almost want to take the window out. I'm joking. Hey, that's just a joke. If you got any issues like that, definitely reach out and get some help. But yeah, that's just so the entrepreneur mind says, okay, in what way, shape, form, or another can I make myself $30 an hour? Because right now, my $30 an hour is sustaining my life. I can pay my car note, I can pay my house, you know what I'm saying? I can support my vice, whatever it is. I can take my children to extracurricular activities. I can't really live, but I can sustain a life at $60,000 a year or whatever. So, what way, shape, form, or another can I make $30 an hour uh, doing my own thing? That's one thing that they say. I think I can't remember, was it Stevie Wonder said, "There's a silver lining in every rain cloud." So there was no silver lining in COVID. All right. But one thing I realized is the silver lining was a lot of people that were working from home, entrepreneurs, and basically said to themselves, they woke up, opened up their laptop, started getting to work, you know what I'm saying? And they loved it. They loved that feeling. They said, man, this is Bob. This is beast. I love this. I'm sitting here next to my friend, my spouse, my partner, whoever it is. Not everybody. Some people were sitting at home with their spouse and they really wanted to be at work with their work husband or wife or whatever, and they got pissed off. But for anybody else, they were like, "Yo, I love this. I love this. I'm getting paid like a porn star. On our lunch break, so we good. I'm kidding, but we living that life. I'm eating my breakfast that I want to eat. I'm taking my walks that I want to walk. I want to do this." But in the back of their heads, they're like, "Yo, but this is coming to an end soon." We didn't know at the time when COVID first started. We thought maybe we'd be at home for like 3 months, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Because some companies came out and were like, yo, y'all are not going to come back to like June. So some people already knew that they were going to be home for 6 months. Other people, it was you never knew. It was day by day. And then finally you found out that you're going to be home to June. Then you found out you're going to be home to December. Then you found out that you're going to be home to the next June. Then the next December. Then you found out you're working remotely. But some people say, man, entrepreneur wise, I really like this life, and I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to give this life up, and that's kind of, I could be wrong, but that's where I think the band on TikTok came from. I think the band came from, because like when you have a business What do you need? You need employees. You know what I'm saying? With people running their businesses from home and, you know what I'm saying, doing their TikToks and YouTubes or whatever. I mean, unless you turn into some major corporation, I don't know. I don't really know any famous TikTokers besides Mr. Beast. I know he's huge. I can't remember his name. I think it's Kai Cent. Um, I'm sorry. I'm being honest. I don't even really know any major TikTokers. But these people probably are running a corporation. They probably have employees. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many, but it's not no corporation. Like it's not no 500. It's not no 5,000. You know what I'm saying? So with that, all those tax dollars that the government was getting through um, sales tax, uh, uh, all the taxes from our paychecks. You get $1,000 paycheck. That shit $500. Based off all the other taxes and everything that's coming out. So all those taxes are pretty much dwindling away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we gave y'all trillions of dollars. I can't remember, like $3.4 trillion back in 2020. We got to figure a way to get that money back. You know what I'm saying? Because like even when I got my book here, and I gotta pay the printers. Oh shit, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pay the printers and whatnot for my book. You know what I'm saying? So like, to print that money costs money. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, how are we gonna get this back? And half of y'all not even working no more. Half of y'all are just running a business from your house. And how are we gonna get these tax dollars back? So that's where I think it kind of comes in. Like, all right, well, we can at least start by banning TikTok. You know what I'm saying? We can at least get everybody on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Figure that out. Let's try to figure this out. But also, I'm not getting into cybersecurity, but I also think there's some cybersecurity issues that I'm unaware of. But yeah. So, all right, y'all. I do got to get ready to get up out of here. I didn't even really get into what I really wanted to get into. But there's a whole lot that's going on. We'll touch base. I got to get ready to hop into this meeting real quick. It says entrepreneurship meeting. To be honest, I'm going to talk to some other entrepreneurs. I don't even know what the conversation is today. Let me see. I got it pulled up. What's the conversation today? In my entrepreneurship meeting, wealth consulting. So this will be a fantastic meeting because I actually want to hear what she has to say. This lady's going to do a presentation on wealth consulting. So I want to thank anybody and everybody who decided to stop by, kick it with your mans. I appreciate it. I'm Chan Man. This is House of Barf.